Assalamualaikum and good afternoon.
Assalamualaikum, good afternoon.
My name is Eddie.
My name is Steven.
Today we would like to present regarding the Piper Alpha 1988 accident. Okay. First of all, I would like to give a background story of the Piper Alpha. Piper Alpha was an oil rig that produced oil and gas and was operated by the Occidental Petroleum Caledonia Ltd. The accident was occurred in 6 July 1988. It killed about 167 people and another 61 people survived from the accident. It cost about $3.4 billion in property damages and insurance claims. The blazing remains at the platform about 3 weeks, and the aftermath of the accident, there was a killer inquiry was set up in November 1988 to establish the causes of the disaster. And the killer inquiry released a report which is public inquiry into the Piper Alpha disaster. Based on the report, it led to the adoption the Offshore Installation Safety Case Regulation 1992. So the chronology of the accident, the initiation of the accident is happened by the leakage of gas product at valve inside backup propane condensate pump at processing area. As the gas leakage, it continued until it was ignited and caused an explosion. The explosion blast through the wall and spread fire onto another oil lines. There was automatic delay system which was designed to spread water to fire, but it was never activated because it has been turned off by the explosion. Furthermore, there are nearby oil rigs, which is Tartan and Claymore. They keep pumping oils into the Piper Alpha, make the disaster worse, and the workers are not able to shut down the pumping due to a perceived lack of authority. So after that, the accident ended by the fire continued to burn for another 3 weeks until it was extinguished by the firefighter. It was $1 billion losses due to products such as oil and gas were consumed by the fire. I would like to touch a bit of detail of the accident. At the morning of 6 July 1988, there are routine maintenance procedures were done at the Beckham propane condensate pump. Usually at the power plant, at the oil refinery plants, the pump usually have a pair, which is the main pump and the second pump. At the morning, the second pump, the backup pump, the maintenance was done to check the pressure safety valve. But the maintenance cannot be completed until at the end of the day at 1800. Then the workers decide to seal the valve by using flange, and it was tightened by hand. Later, during the night shift, the primary propane condensate pump was failed. After that, the night shift workers decide to use the second pump, which still under the maintenance, and after that, the workers turn on the pump. The result of that decision, the gas products escaped from the hole of the valve. After that, the pressure gas were ignited and exploded.
I will discuss regarding the human factors, which is include in plan and equipment, process, and the people itself. In the plant and equipment, as you can see here, the design of the facility did not include sufficient protections of the structure against the intense fire, nor reduce and appropriate safety systems. And the layout of the platform designs allow the fire to propagate quickly from production's module B, as you can see, and C to the critical center, and it destroyed the control room and the radio room in nearly stages of the accidents. And the electrical power generations public address, general alarms, and emergency shutdown, and fire protection systems also failed shortly after the first explosions. And for the process, the accidents are quite infrequent during the time. So the accidents is often seen as being caused by one or more individuals. But actually, it was the Piper Alpha, the major problems was the design and the permit to work systems itself, which is mitigate of the accidents. Under the process, as you can see here, it was mentioned the backup propane condensate pump in the process are needed to have its pressure safety valve checked. But unfortunately, until 1800, the worker was not able. Instead, he left the rest of the work until the next day. And the tube was sealed with the plate, was just being left. And what happened? Later in the evening, during the next shift work, the primary condensate pump was failed, and no one of those present were aware that vital part of the machines had been removed, and decided to start up the backup pump. And the gas products escaped from the hole left by the valve. The gas audible leak out at high pressure, ignite and explode, blowing through the firewalls, and fire spread through the damaged firewalls. It happens during the process. For the risk assessment in the incidents, according to Lord Cullen, he was identified 4 major of human error that contribute to the severity of the incidents. It includes the deficient analysis of hazard. Second one, inefficiency in the permit to work system. Third one, inadequate training in the use of the permit and emergency response procedure. And the last, there was a breakdown of the chains of command. This is the critical part, which is the lack of any communications to the platform crew, which continue pumping the gas and oil by the Tartan and the Claymore platforms, was not able to shut down due to perceived lack of authority. And even though personnel could see the Piper burning, they could not do anything. Next is about safety critical communications factor. So after the investigations was complete, it was discovered that the pump that had been turned off was a failure of permit to work. Systems that you can see at the picture, it was a system of paperwork designed to promote communications between all parties affected by any maintenance procedure done on the platform. But in this case, in Piper Alpha, it had become too relaxed. The employees relied on too many informal communications, and communications between shift changes was lacking. If ever the system had been implemented properly, the initial gas leak never would been occurred. And the last factor, which is the people. Under the people, there is a supervision and leadership factor. The superintendent on the platform, or we call it OIM, Offshore Installations Manager, he was panicked and he was ineffective almost from the beginning and during the accidents. Evacuations was ordered, and even it had been ordered, could not have been fully carried out given the locations of the living quarters, the layout of topside, and the ineffectiveness of the safety equipment. Fireboats were at hand, but they waited the orders from OIM to fight the fire. Here is the managing human failures happens. According to the pictures, you can see from the top up to down. O is the organizational factor that influence the A. A is a decisions and actions that influence the probability of the event. And E is the basic of the Piper Alpha accident sequence. So in conclusions, in the picture, the meta decisions would include the process, procedure, structure, and the culture, which in the organization level. When it fails, it will lead to the failing in decision in specific actions, which is the decisions and actions level, which done by the employee, and will lead to the ineffectiveness of component reliability, which cause the component failure and the operator errors. In summarize, the root cause of system failure from top management lack of making right decisions lead to human error performance on decision level and lead to the component failure. For the behavioral safety, in this case of Piper Alpha, some people will realize that the only way to survive would be to escape the stations immediately. But however, found that all routes to lifeboat were blocked by smokes and flames, and in the lack of any other instructions, they just made the jump and to the sea and hoping to be rescued by a boat. 62 men were saved in these fashions, but most of the other 167 who died suffocate on carbon monoxide and fume in the accommodations area.
So, the design platform that should be done, there should have been sufficient protection against and mitigation of fire and explosion, as well enough firefighting that able to fight the fire, as there are particular importance as there is no possibility to rely on outside assistance such as fire brigade, which means that workers at the rig must prepare to face the accident such as a fire. They must rely on themselves without hoping someone outside to help them. Furthermore, there should have been more than one route to helicopter and lifeboat, and the route must be accessible at any given time to ensure evacuation of the platform in crisis situation. To aid escape from the hazardous situation, luminescent strips and heat shielding provide visibility in smoke and protection from flame, respectively. Secondary escapes such as ropes, ladder, and nets must also be available as backup if there are more sophisticated escape method. That's all from our group. Thank you.
Thank you.